Rookie of the Year field.
Sonny Styles, I love Ohio State. Apparently, the linebacker went 7th overall to the Washington Commanders. You all know about the combine prowess, one of the most impressive performances ever. But he also was just a darn good tackler. He really reduced his missed tackle rate. He was one of the best tacklers in all of college football last season, has rare size, coverage ability, range, incredibly smart, should be a big part of the communication on defense. Not a lot of holes in the game of Sonny Styles.
All right, let's be honest with ourselves for a second. When we look at the entirety of the upcoming draft class, there's a very real possibility that Sonny Styles emerges as the single most valuable selection made by any team. I'm not saying this lightly, but the potential is genuinely that significant. This is precisely the area where I am most eager to see Dan Quinn's coaching philosophy take root and flourish. We've witnessed this exact scenario play out before, specifically with what he accomplished alongside Micah Parsons, and I think it's crucial to dissect that dynamic. But before we dive deep into that comparison, I have to extend a quick and earnest request to the Washington Commanders faithful. Please, if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed and that you check out the full-length video we have available. Without a doubt, that is the single most effective way to help this channel continue to grow and thrive. It allows us to maintain our commitment to having the most objective, well-grounded, and sincere discussions surrounding this team. Your support in this regard makes an immense difference, and I genuinely cannot overstate my appreciation for it. Now, let's get back to the core of the matter. The bond that Dan Quinn successfully cultivated with Micah Parsons proved to be incredibly influential. It was a connection that went far beyond the typical player-coach relationship. Micah has spoken openly about how Quinn brought out the absolute best version of himself, a level of performance that might have otherwise remained untapped. When you listen to Micah describe it, the terms that come up are profound: mentorship, a guiding uncle, a paternal presence, and an unwavering sense of accountability. These are precisely the foundational elements you crave for a defensive juggernaut, right? You're looking for a player who is a coiled spring, just waiting for the right hand to unleash his potential, but who also needs that structure and responsibility to truly flourish. That is the exact blueprint I am desperate to see Dan Quinn implement with Sonny Styles. I don't just want to see it on the stat sheet, I want to hear it in the player's own words. I want to hear Sonny speak about Quinn with the same reverence and appreciation that Micah did, expressing that Quinn is his guy, the coach who is singularly responsible for elevating his game. I want to hear that Quinn is the figure demonstrating the professional standard, the one who meticulously places him in optimal positions to achieve success. I want Sonny to articulate that with each passing day, the game of football becomes simpler and more intuitive because of the guidance he's receiving from his head coach. That's the narrative I'm looking for, that's the evidence of a successful partnership that I want to see unfold. And this is where the context of the Commanders' situation becomes exceptionally compelling. Consider the defensive gauntlet they face, just within their own division. You are looking at a schedule that pits you against Dak Prescott, against Jackson Dart, and against Jalen Hurts. That means you are preparing for 3 fundamentally distinct defensive schemes and 3 quarterbacks with entirely different skill sets on a regular basis. This particular challenge actually positions a player like Styles perfectly to showcase his versatility and succeed. The opportunity to make a tangible impact is immense. It's actually quite fascinating because I recently released a video discussing the offensive side of the ball, specifically focusing on the Offensive Rookie of the Year race. In that analysis, I posited that if a commander wins that award, it's a near certain indicator that the entire offense is clicking at a high level, the quarterback is performing exceptionally, and the team is in a fantastic position. It's a similar kind of logic that applies here to the defense. If Sonny Styles is in the conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year, it becomes exceedingly difficult to envision a scenario where the defense isn't finally on a clear upward trajectory. It would signify that this unit is finally executing the vision that fans have been yearning for since the moment Dan Quinn took the helm. If that becomes a reality, we're talking about removing an enormous burden from the offensive side of the ball. It would take a massive weight off the shoulders of a player like Jayden Daniels. I've mentioned this before, but one of the most effective strategies for protecting a young quarterback is to provide him with a reliable defense. You don't want to force your quarterback into a situation where he feels compelled to play hero ball, having to orchestrate scoring drives for over 30 points in every single contest. Imagine a scenario where you possess a 10-point lead with 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. In that situation, you can lean on the running game, control the tempo, and dictate the pace of the game, all because your defense has done its job and maintained that advantage. So, more than anything, I want to witness Dan Quinn working his magic with Sunny Styles. I want to perceive that unspoken connection, that profound relationship forming between them. I want to see that dominance and visible development manifest on the gridiron. You're looking at the potential new anchor, the fresh leader of your defense. This is the player who will be tasked with executing Dan Quinn's defensive messaging in real time, serving as his proxy on the field. This extends to every facet of the game, in the film room, in the weight room, during drills, and even waiting on the sideline for his turn. It's about total immersion and embodiment of the coach's philosophy. In essence, Sunny Styles has the potential to become the on-field extension of Dan Quinn. It's a type of connection he hasn't necessarily had before. Now, he has that opportunity, and it's a brand new one, starting from the ground up. Naturally, there will be a degree of that with any Commanders player, but this feels like a more specific, foundational situation. This is the narrative I am hyper-focused on. And if you can replicate that magic again, it becomes very challenging for me to conceive of a scenario where Styles performs at a defensive rookie of the year level, yet the defense as a whole remains subpar. I'm fully aware that such situations have happened in the past, so don't misunderstand me. However, in this specific context, I find it hard to believe that you could have that caliber of individual performance and not feel a profound sense of relief and optimism about the defense's future. Will it be flawless? Will it have holes? Of course. But I have to believe that the overall feeling among fans and the organization will be infinitely more positive than it has been in recent years. And again, this positive momentum on defense will inevitably bleed over and influence the offense. It will give the offense the freedom to play their game on their terms. In many ways, the defense dictates the offensive strategy. If the defense isn't holding up its end of the bargain, the offense is forced into uncomfortable, high-risk positions. But if the defense is consistent and reliable, it grants the offense far greater control and allows them to play with a lead and dictate the flow of the game. When you have a new offensive coordinator, a young quarterback who needs to hit the ground running, stay healthy, evolve his game, and earn a new system, it's paramount that you give the offense as much power and control as possible. You want to make their jobs as easy and as versatile as possible. And the most effective way to do that is by having a defense that can consistently get the job done. A huge part of that success would be Sunny Styles playing at an elite level. However, those are just my initial thoughts on the matter. I would absolutely love to hear your perspective. What is your take on the Washington Commanders and the notion that Sunny Styles could be the defensive rookie of the year, thereby revitalizing this defense and fulfilling the Dan Quinn defensive prophecy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I make it a point to read every single comment that is posted. So, whether you are in complete agreement with me or you vehemently disagree, either way, let's engage in some productive discussions. Let's challenge each other's viewpoints, but ultimately, let's just have some fun with it. Please also do consider subscribing to the channel. We are actively building an amazing community here, and I would genuinely love to see you become a part of it. My goal is to construct a space where we all feel a sense of connection, something we are all genuinely excited to be involved with. I truly believe we are well on our way to achieving that. And please, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It genuinely helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much for your time and support. I'll see you in the next one.